Goedemorgen, welkom bij VPRO Vrije Geluiden vanuit Tivoli, Vredenburg in Utrecht. Vandaag hebben we de winnaar van de Buma Boy Edgarprijs, componist-arrangeur Martin Fonse. Hij is hier met een gedeelte van het Martin Fonse Orchestra. En ze spelen onder andere een stuk uit zijn Card Games Suite en er hoort een bijzonder verhaal bij. Maar eerst singer-songwriter Jim White, nu een gevierd zanger, maar voorheen iemand die een leven leidde vol depressies, armoede, gekte, maar ook avontuur. Hij was bokser, dominee, surfer, taxichauffeur, fotomodel en comedian. En waar hij zich nu mee bezighoudt, dat horen we op zijn nieuwe album Waffles, Triangles and Jesus. Hier is Jim White met Reason to Cry.
This is a story song from the South, filtered through the narrow gate of Jesus. Everything comes from Jesus in the South. It's called Reason to Cry. While walking to church one Sunday morning, 'neath the drizzle of a cold November sky, from far away in the woods I heard a wailing as though someone had died. I followed that voice past alder and oak to where strewn like a rag doll on the ground I found a young woman unknown to these parts, and from her lips came that terrible sound. In her wailing she heard not a word I said when I asked her the cause of her pain. So after a while I just left her lying there all alone in them woods in that rain. I figured she might just have a good reason to cry. She might just have a good reason to cry. For when trouble comes a-calling in the blinking of an eye, you might just have a good reason to cry. Well, I hurried on up to the church house where my preacher, he had just begun to sing that old hymn my sweet mama always sang to me before the Lord took her away from us last spring. When I opened my mouth to join that joyous choir come sailing out from somewhere deep within, came the mournful wailing of that forlorn maiden, not the comforting words to the hymn. Well, my neighbors, they looked around and wondered. I looked back at them with baleful, teary eyes. I wanted to join in and just sing that happy song, but I couldn't, for I'd sadly realize I might just have a good reason to cry. I might just have a good reason to cry. For when trouble sneaks upon you from somewhere far behind, you might just have a good reason to cry. Well, my church folk, they gathered all around me. They laid hands on me and prayed for my soul. But I pushed them away and I fled that dreadful place, swearing never more to church would I go. These days I walk among the alders, like that heartbroken maiden in the rain. Yes, I'll wander these woods, just a wailing my laments to the tune of that old hymn my mama sang. And my neighbors these days, they mostly shun me as they walk by on their way to pray and sing. And though I envy them the bliss of their devotion, I fear one day too that they'll feel sorrow's sting. For we've all got a good reason to cry. We've all got a good reason to cry. For this life's a train of sorrows, one's to come or one's gone by. So it's just a matter of time before we all find our good reason to cry.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Mr. White.
That's the first time I've ever sung that song, and a beautiful woman came walking up and sat next to me. Usually they run away after I sing that song.
After you sing this song.
Yeah, about the sad woman.
I come and with this picture.
Yeah.
I'm gonna show it to the people. The reason why it's not a reason to cry.
Not a reason to cry, right?
Is because you had so many jobs.
I had a lot of jobs.
Obviously, you're a singer now, a successful one. But at a certain point in your life, you were a model, you were a preacher, you were a boxer, you were a server, you were a comedian.
Did a lot of things.
How many jobs do you think you've had? Have you ever counted them?
Too many.
Too many?
Too many.
Would they fit on an album if they were all the song tracks?
Yeah, if you count the legal ones, it wouldn't, but the illegal ones, there's more. Yeah, that picture was taken in Belgium. I used to model in Holland and Belgium. I had a nervous breakdown, and it seemed like a good idea to become a model. And I ended up in Amsterdam, where I modeled for Peck and Kloppenburg and
wow, that's a long time ago.
Yeah, yeah, and it's funny because everyone thinks the model lifestyle is all about discotheques and cocaine and stuff like that. But I just sat in a room, you know, once or twice a week. I'd go and stand in some funny-looking clothes, and then I'd go back and try to figure out why I was having this nervous breakdown.
Let's talk about that.
Sure.
You've led a tough life with a lot of ups and downs, but an adventurous life. Maybe tough is not the right word. Maybe the word is, what is the right word?
Well, I've had challenges, but they're first world challenges. Nobody came in and shot my family or anything like that. So first world challenges, when we don't have an enemy, sometimes we turn on ourselves. And
is that what happened?
Yeah, definitely. And you know, I was raised in a church environment and didn't understand why I didn't fit. That's what the song's about. It's about being an artist in a world that doesn't understand artists. Being a person suffering from a creative impulse and depression in a world, you know, they would tell you that's the devil if you had those feelings. So you have to make sense of some things that were told to you by people that you trusted and figure out what is the path for you. For me, it wasn't staying there. It was...
What was it?
Running away. I ran away a lot. I started writing songs as therapy. And I never intended anybody to hear them. I wrote thousands of songs alone by myself in rooms, trying to make sense of things. I didn't have the sense to go and talk to a counselor or anything like that. I thought I have to work this out myself because that's how I was raised. But my days in Holland, I wandered the streets a lot, late at night, just walked around and let the wind blow on me and the snow fall on me. And I came across sad people in similar situations who were not as lucky as me. I got to work once or twice a week and make some money. They didn't. Yeah. And I like talking to those people because it always gave me a perspective that no matter how much I was struggling, that I was doing well compared to a lot of people. And
were you writing sad songs? Were you writing about your depressions?
Well, when you first start trying to figure out what's wrong with you, you have, like a baby, you only have 2 words. So I sang those 2 words for about 10 years. I'm sad. You know? And then, not literally, but...
In all kinds of variations, but the same
and
message.
eventually you develop a big enough vocabulary to where you say, well, I think I understand this pretty well. I wonder if I should move on. And to try to figure out how to be happy. And when my daughter was born, that's when I decided it's time to be happy because I don't want to give her the burden of sorrow as well.
And when she was born, was that a moment that your music changed, or is that also when people started to know about your music? Where was this in your life? Because from being all kinds of things, you ended up being a professional musician.
Well, I was already a musician by then when she was on her way into the world. In fact, I was in the studio with a band called Morchiba recording my second record when they called. Her mother and I were estranged, and they told me not to show up there, but I came anyway. I got on a plane and walked into the hospital and looked at that child there.
Wow.
I never thought about having a child. I thought I was the wrong person for that job, but there she was, and it saved my life in many ways. I found my heart.
Yeah, but you were already in music?
Yes.
And tell me, just briefly, like, how did you get from wandering in the streets and writing sad songs to a record deal?
Well, it's a 4-hour story.
Oh, wow, okay.
But the basic short story is I used to make these little tapes to document the songs I wrote. One of them, maybe 5 people in the world knew about my music, and one of them asked me for a tape, and I gave it to him, and he gave it to his girlfriend, and she passed it to somebody, and she passed it to somebody, and eventually David Byrne got it. So by the time I got a record deal, maybe 10 people in the world had heard my music, and I think that's a record. And it was certainly the worst demo tape ever made.
Why?
Sound only came out of one speaker. I was recording across the room with a little $2 microphone and a $4 tape recorder. I had no intention of sending it anywhere, and I think because of that, it had magic on it.
Yeah.
If I had thought, let me make this perfect demo tape that I will send out and get these people to call me wonderful, I think nothing would have happened. But because I surrendered and said, this is just a gift to the nothingness, because I surrendered, something good happened.
Okay.
I tended to mess everything up when I tried to make things happen. It was beautiful when I stopped trying to make things happen and something great happened. And I'm shaking hands with David Byrne, and he's so funny. He's very humble. He came rushing up to me. You know, I was a cab driver in New York City. No one was talking to me about anything. He came rushing up to me and shook my hand the first time and said, "Wow, what an honor to meet you. You're such a great songwriter."
Wow.
And I thought, weren't you on the cover of Time magazine because you're a great songwriter?
Yeah.
This has got to be like the world's biggest reversal ever. He's such a sweet man.
Ah, great.
Yeah.
Say, because you're 60, 61 right now?
60, yeah.
Okay, and your daughters are still young?
11 and 19.
And 19.
Yeah.
Do you ever think about what you would like to pass on to them?
I want to pass on them a foundational sanity. Because there's a lot of history of mental illness in my family. So I want to give them the tools to recognize trouble and to do something about it. And, you know, they're both creative artists, people, you know, they're singers. Both of them can sing twice as good as I can. So I just want to, they already have the creative tools. I just want to give them the tools to lay hands on sanity at those moments when it's hard to do.
The next song is about one of your daughters, right?
Yeah, yes. I wrote it before she was born when it was suggested that I would never get to see my child. Her mom was mad at me and said that I would never get to see her. And I wanted to write her a song to let her know I was thinking about her before she was born.
That's beautiful. What's the name of it?
It's called Sweet Bird of Mystery.
Can she sing it?
Well, we've sung it once together.
Yeah?
But it's on the new record. She only heard it for the first time about a year ago.
Wow.
Because I had it, it made me cry every time I tried to sing it. Because she had a hard life, I had a hard life trying to be her father because her mom didn't want me in her life. So I couldn't sing it. It was in a suitcase for about 18 years. And when she just turned 18, I sang it for her for the first time, and we had a good cry.
Oh, beautiful. I'm going to listen to it. Thank you so much.
My
Jim
pleasure.
White.
My pleasure. Thank you. Thank you for listening. By the time that you hear this, I'll be wearing store-bought teeth, mail-order shirts and cardigans, all the blessings of longevity, and well beyond the age of my will to see or be seen. There remain behind this record of my prayer for you today. I wish you good luck in the future, sweet bird of mystery, fine summer breezes in your hair, a blue suitcase full of smiles for the miles of open road. Through it all and everything, may you always be a sweet bird of mystery. I hold a snapshot of you, darling. Of course, here you're still quite young. You're not ready to present yourself to this big old bad old world. I know, but I have to pinch myself at the beauty of your innocence. How could I let anything so wondrous slip right through my fingertips? I wish you good luck in the future, sweet bird of mystery, fine summer breezes in your hair, a blue suitcase full of smiles for the miles of open road. Through it all and everything, may you always be sweet bird of mystery. You know the days of our lives are numbered, they're like leaves on a tree. But I will not give in to fretting about the cold of the coming winter, for in the far and lovely distance I see you standing by the sea. You are my photograph of heaven, so darling, keep on smiling back at me. I wish you good luck in the future, sweet bird of mystery, fine summer breezes in your hair, a blue suitcase full of smiles for the miles of open road. Through it all and everything, may you always be my sweet bird of mystery.
Jim White speelt vanavond hier in Tivoli Vredenburg, morgen in Paradiso in Amsterdam en verder toert hij tot en met 10 december nog door het land.